October is here with the new 40,000 gem giveaway. 5 lucky winners will each win 8,000 gems. Any platform can win. Enter in the description down below. Hello everybody, we are here with your Raijun guide action. We'll be starting off with our Mage's Blessing. A tier 1 lost artifact, a couple of health pots, a couple of mana pots, and our beat. So Raijun doesn't get played a ton anymore. I would not say that he is super meta. He's not garbage. He's probably somewhere right around balanced to maybe a little tune-up could be used on him, but nothing super crazy. For our first ability, we will be going into our 1. Our 1 is our main source of lane clear. And how it works is it is a line-based ability that you fire off 3 times. Once is kind of basically your left drum, then your right drum, and then both your drums, and bada bing, bada boom, you get a giant triple strike. That last strike is gonna be a big, fat, wide shot. So you'll be able to see here, right at the speed bump, so you get boom, boom, and then wham! You get a much wider shot all together. Little left, little right, little bingo, bango, bongo. This will be the ability that we max first. So 1, 2, and then a little bit easier to hit on that third one. Raijun's passive, which you can see on the left-hand side down there. I built it up a little bit before we started. That passive, what it is going to do is when we use our abilities, it is going to build up one of these little orbs. And then when we get all the way up, it is going to give us a little bit of CDR. So for every 5th ability cast, we reduce the cooldown of all of our abilities, including the one that we use to cast it. So including that 5th ability that gets used. Additionally, Raijun's basic attacks have a wider radius just in general. The ability that I grabbed at level 2, which is a little bit risky, and the reason why it's a little bit risky is stuff like that, like a Wheelix going in very aggressively. I got Raiju at level 2. This is going to help in our lane clear department. It is also a little bit of CC. You throw down Raiju onto a single target, and then Raiju will be able to be procced by one of your abilities or an auto attack. So when you throw it onto somebody at first, it doesn't actually do anything other than reveal them on the minimap and give them a little slow, but it's not gonna do any damage. And then when you actually proc Raiju by, like I said, auto-attacking it, or if you hit it with your 1 or your Thunder Crash or whatever, it is going to pop on out and it is going to damage and slow enemies. It is going to basically act like Chain Lightning from Zeus, and it's gonna go around and wreak some havoc. It's gonna go around, it's gonna slow people, damage people, bouncing all around, and you can see that the duration of the mark depends on the rank of the ability. This is the ability that we will standardly be maxing. 3rd. Our 3rd ability, which is our getaway ability on Raijun, is our Thunder Crash. He actually has a pretty unique leap ability in that this procs twice. So it's kind of a 2-pronged effort. You've got the initial charge, which is going to do some damage, as well as barely mesmerize your target. So you dash in, it is going to memorize, and then there's the second part, which actually involves you teleporting to the target location. So it's a really quick, very, very short mess with a little damage action. And then it's the second part of the ability, which is a little bit more damage in the actual teleport. Fun little historical fact on Raijun When he first came out, this ability did so much damage that it was actually the most efficient ability to level first because of just purely how much damage this ability could do with the 2-3 combo on the Raiju. That is not the case anymore. You will be leveling your 3 last on Raijun. For the most part, you want to use this strictly as a getaway skill. It'll increase the damage as you rank it up, but it doesn't reduce the cooldown or anything like that. That would be important. Finally, our ultimate, which is the most complicated part of Raijun, is going to be our actual factual bingo, bango, bongo drum attack. This drum attack is going to have 3 things that it can do. So when you go into your ultimate, you're going to go into a channeled CC immune ability, and you are going to be able to activate the ability again by pressing 1, 2, or 3. If you press 1, that is going to be your pure damage-based beat. So use that when all you want is raw damage coming out. This ability is going to be a massive line-based ability with a travel time, and it is going to go through all targets hit, minions, gods, whatever. If you press your 2, this is going to taunt people towards you. So think like a really short duration Athena taunt, but it is only going to do 30% of the damage that it could do. And finally, if you press your 3, instead of taunting, it is going to fear the enemy away from you, also doing 30% damage. While you are in this ability, you do have a 20% movement speed slow on your character, so you are a little bit slower while you are playing your drums. Okay. So your official level order on Raijun ulti is 4, 1, 2, 3. You're going to get your ulti whenever you can because you're going to get a lot of increased damage for making this up. You're going to get your 1 because it's great lane clear as well as a fairly low cooldown poke and damage. Then you get your 2, and finally ranking up your 3. I got to be a little bit careful right here. I'm going to wait for my Loki to come over. I'm probably going to get a little bit aggressive. See if I can't secure with my 1, we will be able to go ahead and use our leap to get over this wall. So your 3 is a leap. It'll let you jump over walls, anything like that, but it's also Raijun 3 is very unique in that it is a teleport. It is a teleport leap, so you should almost think of it like a almost like a Merlin flicker, kind of. It's technically not. It is qualified as a leap, but as far as I am aware, this ability is unable to be pulled by a Wheelix because there technically is no like leap part of it. You basically just teleport to the target location. So by all accounts, I feel like it shouldn't be qualified as a leap. Theoretically, anything qualified as a leap should be able to be pulled by a Wheelix, but I actually don't think that Raijun can, which means I don't technically think it should be qualified as a leap. I'm sure somebody somewhere can give me the exact lowdown on the exact rundown of this and why I'm wrong, but that's in my head what my Smite brain thinks. So we're approaching level 9. Level 9 is really where Raijun starts to come online. It's when a lot of mages start to come online with their damage. As long as you're not a super early game oriented mage, this is where you're going to find you're going to be able to start burning down people. That's because you're going to get your second point in your ulti and being able to max out your first ability that you want to rank up. I always save that point at level 8, so that way I can put a point in my ultimate and my main ability at the same time, which is really gonna up my damage. So what I want to do is to actually start looking for fights. There is a Sobek here, but I just want to get kind of involved right now. I got my ulti up.
Incoming. Be careful.
Janice is ulting right on through. I'm gonna see if I can't try to catch him on the back side of this. Here we go. Gonna start getting some damage over onto the Wheelix. I'm gonna dash away from the Sobek so I don't get hit by the Sobek ulti. Gonna throw down a ward behind me at the Gold Fury. So Raijun, one of the reasons why he doesn't get super played is that he used to have a lot of damage, and they slowly have taken down his damage over time. And so he's not quite the same powerhouse that he used to be, but he still can provide a good bit of damage if you are landing all of your abilities. So for your standard combo, what you're looking to do is you want to land your 2 first. That is going to throw down the Raiju on somebody. You can see I actually missed it right there, and so it's not going to connect with him. You want to throw down your Raiju, have it connect on somebody. Then you can follow up with an auto attack to prog it and get the enemy slowed. Or you can go right into your 1 and just try to proc it with your 1. If you go for the auto attack, it'll help you hit your 1 standardly a little bit easier. See, now he has got that slow on him. I'm gonna go right into my ulti. I'm gonna taunt him away from his portal. Unfortunately, he is gonna go through the portal anyway. My Hercules was waiting for him though, and he is going to get the kill. So I can see that Janice wanted to get through his portal. I tried to taunt him away from his portal. I'm not exactly sure how he entered into it because I'm pretty sure his portal was behind him and he was running to me. But in theory, he probably shouldn't have been able to enter that actual portal because I was taunting him towards me. But, you know, Smite stuff. So you throw down your 2, bada bing, bada boom, you hit him with the 1. You're probably going to have to hit them with this combo 1 time before you full commit. Hit him with 1, 2, 1. You'll bring him down around that 50 to 70% hit point marker, depending on how tanky they are. Then when you go to do it the second time, you will be able to full commit, dash in with your 3, and then commit with your ulti to finish off the kill. Now, one thing on Raijun is you have really long cast times on 2 crucial abilities. So your 2 is just a little instant, bada bing, bada boom, it comes out. This 1 is just a giant channel. So you've seen a couple of times this game where I either got Sobek tail whipped or I got Yanis portaled. Very easy to get interrupted out of your 1 on Raijun, and it is also very easy to get interrupted out of your 3. While it's basically impossible to get like a Wheelix pulled out of this ability, it is really easy to get generically interrupted out of it. It has a very long cast time. And that very long cast time means you are prone to things like a Sobek tail whip that is simply going to get you killed. So when you do that first part of this ability, so watch it, 1, 2, that entire time in between that first little crash coming off and that second teleport, you are absolutely interruptible during that time. You are attackable, all of it. And that means that there's a lot of time for the enemy to get you out of that dash with CC, thus interrupting your getaway skill. So you have to be very careful with Raijun's 3. It is honestly a much better offensive ability than it is a defensive ability, kind of like Medusa Dash, where Medusa Dash is like a super great offensive ability, but as far as defense goes, like, it can get body blocked and it kind of sucks. Kind of the same thing with Raijun. You typically want to use it just defensively because otherwise you're kind of out in the open and left unprepared. But it just so happens to be much more efficient when you get to use it offensively. Speaking of offensively, let's be offensive, shall we?
Enemies incoming.
Let's go ahead and fear this Sobek away and try to bring some trouble out of my face. I'm gonna dash over this wall and try to get away from the impending Sobek. There's also an Wheelix coming this way. He has hopped over that little wall towards my mid lane. So I'm just gonna head all the way over to duo lane to get out of here. Now let's talk a little bit more about build here on Raijun. So we started off with the standard mid lane build. We got our Mage's Blessing, we got our cooldown boots, and then right into a Doom Orb. This is pretty much standard on everybody that you're gonna be running in mid. Doom Orb, super cheap right now, super efficient, wonderful, gives you that extra movement speed, 20% cooldown. Who doesn't want 20% cooldown? Bada bing, bada boom. Now that we're gonna be moving into the next stages of the build, I prefer to build Raijun as a squishy killing character. I think Raijun is best when he's got a lot of pen built in his kit, as well as CDR. CDR is quite important on him in order to be able to get a lot of 2-1 combos off late game. It's basically like having a mage with an oboe just proccing all around objectives and Fire Giant. towers, phoenixes, whatever. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go into a Spear of Desolation to get me some flat pen going. I do not need a Divine Ruin this game. You can see that they basically don't have any sustain outside of like Neath 2 and any lifesteal that they build. So Neath will have some sustain, but I'm not gonna build counter just to affect her lifesteal. So I'm gonna be going into a Spear of Desolation. And then after that Spear of Desolation, I'm gonna go right into a Spear of the Magus. Spear of the Magus is not an item that you see a ton of anymore. But it is still generically good because it gives you extra % damage. I particularly like that extra % damage when I am building a very high burst damage build. So a lot of flat pen, something that will really bring down whoever happens to get hit by your abilities. So I'm going to slow down that Sobek right with my Raiju. Forces him into his ultimate. I don't really want to commit to this fight because I am scared of the Awilix right there. So I'm just going to kind of sit out and chill back. Another reason why cooldown is so great on Raijun is because of the fact that you have built-in cooldown in your kit, right? Remember, your passive gives you that -2 seconds on your abilities when I use that 5th ability. So if you can get your baseline cooldown down quite low, and then you get that -2 seconds on top of that, you can see I've only got 20% CDR, but with that proc, that was only a 5-second cooldown on my 1, which is pretty flippin' rad. Pretty rad. We're gonna back it up now. We're gonna go get ourselves that Spear of Desolation. Get ourselves out 30% CDR, 10 flat pen, and a bunch of power in general, and some wards. Then I'm going to go looking at this Spear of the Magus. So we're going to get another 10 flat pen, a bunch more power, and whenever you damage an enemy god with an ability, you mark them and they take 7.5% increased damage from all sources, and this lasts for 7 seconds. We're going to like this on our Raijun because we're going to hit that 2-1 combo. It's going to be right on them, and then oftentimes, especially toward the end of the game on a squishy, that 2-1 combo very well might be enough to bring them into a range where we can be comfortable using our 3 to finish off the kill in a pretty instant burst fashion. Gonna put some aggressive wards over here by the Gold Fury as we're moving into the team fight objective stage of the game. Just gonna put one right there at that top left. We know they've got a sentry ward a little bit closer in, so I don't want to waste my ward over there. Gonna place it a little bit farther to the left, and hopefully they can't counter it, but still give us some nice vision up in that top left-hand side so we know where they're coming from. In fact, I saw Janus actually just portal towards the mid lane, but I gotta be careful because there's a Xing Tian behind us. We're gonna get some procs right there. I'm gonna try to use my 3 to get away. Luckily, I am gonna get off before the Xing Tian gets his ulti up. Waiting for the Ares to pop his combo, and then I'm gonna hit my big slow on everybody that I can, and I'm just gonna start spamming my 1 until I get to that Sobek right there. On that 3rd little proc, I'm going to use my taunt to bring him back into the tower range, finishing off the kill with my dash. Because I'm proccing so many abilities so quick, I'm getting out my passive really frequently, which is allowing me to use even more abilities even faster. You can see how intuitive the passive is with building CDR. The more abilities you use, the quicker you get your passive. The quicker your passive, the more CDR you got. Bada bing, bada boom. Janus had his eyes on your boy real bad. He wanted to hit me and Hercules there. Gonna try to get that quick last little pick-off kill on the Awilix. And now we're just gonna have to chill at our tower line. Gonna need a couple hundred more gold before I back up and get that Spear of the Magus. They're probably gonna be able to walk over and just get the Gold Fury for free. I'm too low. I don't want to sacrifice myself for a Gold Fury that I probably won't be able to get anyway. So instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some use of my time, and I'm gonna go look at their right side jungle. I know everybody is going to Gold Fury, and so I'm gonna go try to take some of their camps on the other side of the map and try to get them to miss out on some farm in a safe manner. Oh my goodness, our Loki went over and stole the Gold Fury anyway, and so we're gonna get their right side jungle and the Gold Fury. That's a big fat win-win. I'm kind of hoping Xing Tian doesn't have his teleport up. If he does, I might actually be dead here, but if he doesn't, I'm gonna grab a tier 1 tower on top of all of this. So for our matchups on Raijun, Janus is actually a decent matchup for us to go against. Yes, it's a little bit annoying that he can interrupt us with his portal, but in general, I actually like the Raijun matchup against Janus because you've got the bleed that you can put on him in the slow. Sometimes that's going to kill him after he tries to portal away. Your ultimate is really long, like really long. So if he tries to portal through a wall, you might be able to hit him with the ulti to get the kill. You can also leap over walls yourself. So he has a harder time getting away from you in Raijun than Janus does from most characters. What I don't like to go against on Raijun is honestly just going to be most of the meta mid laners. Because Raijun is just a little bit not super strong right now. It's not that I'm super concerned about particular like counter matchups or anything on him. I'm more so just concerned around a god just kind of being straight better. So in that regard, I would watch out for the big meta mid laners, the Persephones of the world, the Raws of the world, those gods that are getting played a lot at high level gameplay that you're going to be encountering. And that is just simply because Raijun doesn't quite bring the same amount of oomph that they bring. Now, secondarily, as far as matchups that don't necessarily go directly in your lane, you want to be concerned about interrupts. We talked about earlier how easy it is to interrupt Raijun out of his abilities. And so that is what you're looking at for your global matchups. So somebody like a Sobek, really annoying for Raijun. He can interrupt me with his pluck, and he can interrupt me with his tail whip, so it's kind of a double whammy. You don't want to be dealing with that. Anybody that can consistently, with low cooldown, take you out of your 1 or your 3. Akumba Karnamez.
Enemy missing left. Cancel that.
This is actually not a good call. I don't want them to do that. Retreat out of that. Akumba Karnamez is a disaster. It's a real quick interrupt. It's on a fairly low cooldown. Chances are he's building CDR. If that doesn't work, he can always ulti you into the air. He can interrupt you twice in a row with that. Lord forbid he follows up with a belly bump and then roots you after your dash anyway. You don't want to be dealing with people that have lots and lots of various interrupts. Standardly, this is going to fall down the route of things like Guardians and Warriors, but, you know, there's a lot of gods in the game. All right, now that we've gotten some good farm online, I'm going to go ahead and back it up. We're going to grab our Spear of the Magus. We're going to take a look at their builds. A little bit tanky on the Awilix with the Mantle of Discord, but in general, not super tanky. The Xingtian and the Sobek going that tankier route. So we've got two options here. I'm going to go the route of committing to my penetration, and so I'm going to get an Obsidian Shard. Obsidian Shard is percent penetration, so this is going to work slightly different than our other two items. The other two items are flat pen, meaning that it is going to always take away that amount of protection from the enemy. Percent pen, of course, working by taking away a percentage of their total protections. So the more protections that they have, the more efficient that percent pen is. This is why you buy percent pen against tanks and flat pen against squishies. Now, it's not to say that those forms of pen don't work against the other people, because at the end of the day, they still do. It just is less efficient that way. We might be able to get a nice quick gank. That is a Xingtian jump down, actually, which might lead to a nice pickoff opportunity. I'm going to go right into my ulti. I'm just going to do as much damage as I can to this guy. They're trying to get him out real hard, but I'm going to keep the chase up. That's going to be a nice slow. I'm just going to proc all my abilities. That is his jump down. There's a Sobek behind me, so I actually want to turn onto the Sobek. I'm just going to auto attack him to proc the slow, and then follow up with my full ability load. He has no dash. That is a great kill. We need to keep our eyes on the map, just in case they were doing anything tricksy. Now what we should do is back up. We should just go right to the Fire Giant. We don't need to do anything crazy. We've got two people dead. Janus isn't even here. He's going to go split push. He could try to ulti over and steal it, but if a Janus ulti is over from half the map when he steals the Fire Giant, well, that's just a bummer, and that kind of stuff happened. Mr. Fire Giant, if there's any way you could not be on me, that would be fantastic. It was Ares that attacked you, not me. Fire Giant, well, speaking of the Janus ults, there it is. So for our secure, all we can do on Raijun is we pop our 2, and then we pop our 1, and your 2-1 combo, for the most part, is going to be your best form of secure. Raijun, not a particularly good mage at securing abilities. You can see that the 2 and the 1 are both basically going to be damages over time. and so it's less secure and more like general burst damage at the end of the fire giant's HP or the gold fury, whatever it is he may be bursting down. Now, I don't want to back up at this point until I can finish my ob shard, so I need 250 more gold. I'm going to go throw down a sentry over here by the gold fury, make sure they don't have any vision, and then we can get this started up with me and Ares. Gonna use my 3 just as some additional damage right here. Start burning through all of this. And then we'll be getting ourselves into the late game. All right, ob shard coming online. Now we've got percent pen, we got flat pen, we've got good overall power right now, about 600, nothing wrong with that. And now we want to start pushing up the left lane and the mid lanes to get those tier 2s down. For Raijun in your team fights, you're going to find that on Raijun, you spend a lot of the fight kind of running away, typically. A lot of times, Raijun is going to get kind of face rolled at. So expect to see junglers all up in your grill. Warriors, guardians, their solo laners, their supports, whatever it may be. Expect to see them coming towards you. That's because while Raijun does have a leap as a getaway skill, it is probably one of the singular worst leaps in the game, if not the worst leap for like actually getting away. Meaning that you are still a prime target. So just keep that in mind. It is such a long time for it to go off that many high-level players will be able to interrupt you right out of it. They'll be able to hear it and see it going off, and then use their CC after you start it. Slowback plugs in right here, bringing himself really out of position. We don't have to do anything too crazy. That is a great air result, and I'm just going to follow up with strict damage. I'm not even going to use no fears, no taunt. I'm just spamming 1 as fast as it will possibly let me go. And we're going to be able to grab a couple of kills right there. Now, what we want to do is we want to head right over to the middle lane. We do not want to go into the Titan room yet. We're going to grab out these creeps. We've got a wave of creeps moving up with us, but they're pretty far away. So we're going to go for this fight without them. And then we should move right over to the right lane as well. We've got both of our actives up. We want to make sure we're not getting pulled by a Wheelix from our 3, so we're just going to keep our eyes looking a little sideways right there. Keep an eye on what my Ares is doing. I can see that the Wheelix has used her feather step, so I'm going to be dashing in towards him, proccing that Mantle of Discord by getting him low enough, and now we can look ourselves towards the Titan. Janus has kind of made his way over towards mid, so I'm going to try to burn him on down. That is actually an Wheelix blink combo right there. Luckily, I have my bead still up, so I'm not going to die out of that. And now we can move our way into this Titan room. We got to be a little bit careful. I'm going to get some nice burst damage there onto the knee. That is a great Ares ulti once again. I'm going into my ult, and I'm just going to use my ulti right on the Titan. 1-1-1-1-1-1 to get that maximum damage online, and the Titan will fall. So here at the end of the build, we had plenty of flat pen, plenty of percent pen. Depending on their exact team comp in your game, your last items are going to vary. In this particular game, chances are I just go Rod of Tahuti for straight bonus damage on top of all the items that I had. Another item that you can consider on Raijun, because you're building so much CDR, I still like Soul Reaver on Raijun as well. You'll grab an extra 10% pen from that Soul Reaver. That extra proc damage you can actually get off pretty fast because of your passive making your abilities come back up. You can start procking through it really quickly, so always keep Soul Reaver in mind. So in this particular game, it probably would have been a Ride of Tahuti and then selling my cooldown boots for Soul Reaver, and I would be amiss if I did not mention the fact that if you need a defense item, you've always got Mantle of Discord right there waiting for you to wrap up your CDR as well, guys. And that is out.